Sawasdee good morning and thank you for joining us on Newsline for Sunday, September 7th, 2014. I'm Surapal Lautharanarit. Welcome to today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward, broadcasting live on NBT and Radio Thailand FM 88. In today's top story, according to the Bureau of the Royal Household, Her Royal Highness Princess Julapon has been submitted to Vichayut Hospital for stomach inflammation. Doctors gave Her Royal Highness nutrients and medicine. The princess will remain at the hospital and refrain from all royal duties for now. Now on to today's headlines. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has instructed all government units to disburse their budgets quickly from the beginning in order to accelerate economic growth and ensure transparency. Speaking on his weekly television program, General Prayut stated that the 2015 budget bill had already passed the consideration of the Appropriation Committee and was scheduled to be put before the National Legislative Assembly for the second and third readings on September 17th. So far, the budgets proposed by the 19 ministries have been reduced by over 4.7 billion baht combined. On this occasion, the Prime Minister insisted that all ministries would need to kickstart their budget disbursement process from the first quarter of fiscal 2015 in compliance with the 11th National Economic and Social Development Plan. The prompt payout would help the country achieve its economic expansion target and effectively revive confidence among foreign investors if conducted in a fair and transparent manner. After careful deliberation, General Prayut affirmed that all planned investments would be pushed forward without delay in hopes of creating jobs and raising income for the Thai people, adding value to Thai products, and bringing in more investors. The Prime Minister is worried about the ongoing flood situation and is calling on related agencies to follow His Majesty the King's water management initiatives to deal with the problems. General Prayut Chan-o-cha, the Prime Minister and leader of the National Council for Peace and Order, or NCPO, expressed his worry over continued flooding in many parts of the country. He said the NCPO and the Interior Ministry's Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation have been working hard to assist all flood victims. General Prayut reasoned that some areas experience constant flooding because of their low-lying geography and called on residents of such areas to remain calm while the problem is addressed. For these areas, the NCPO leader suggested that changes must be implemented in the building style of the houses to help save residents from future flooding. In addition, General Prayut said that concerned parties and agencies should fully adopt His Majesty the King's initiatives regarding water retention and management in order to help prevent the regular occurrence of severe flooding. The National Council for Peace and Order is yet to discuss calls for the lifting of martial law as it is still assessing the situation in the country. Secretary General of the NCPO, General Udomdet Sitabut, chaired a meeting with representatives of the Council's various working groups to discuss various operational and security issues. General Udomdet told reporters that the NCPO from next week will adjust its operations after the new cabinet has been sworn in and starts working. The NCPO Secretary General added that General Prayut Chan-o-cha, the Prime Minister and NCPO leader, has instructed officials to work in such a way that the Council's reputation will not be tarnished or compromised. General Udomdet also stated that the meeting did not discuss the lifting of martial law as the NCPO was still assessing the situations from various areas, after intelligence reports suggested some underground movements have been mulled against the council and the new government. Some newly appointed ministers are ready to start work at their respective ministries, whereas most are waiting until after the first meeting of the cabinet, which is expected on Tuesday. Minister to the Prime Minister's office, Mom Luang Panatda Disakun, said the responsibilities of each minister will be clarified during Tuesday's cabinet meeting. Working committees from each ministry will, however, meet before then to come up with a list of priorities that will be presented to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister's office will make the suggestion of adjusting civil servants' attitude towards servicing the public. Mr. Somai Pasi, the Minister of Finance, waited until 10:09 a.m. on Friday before making his entry into the ministry. He disclosed that he would announce his working policies 2 days after he presented them to the National Legislative Assembly on Tuesday. Mr. Chakramon Pasukwanit, the Minister of Industry, said he was prioritizing tackling the economic problems of the 5 southern border provinces. The Finance Minister said that one of the primary policies involved adjusting state workers' attitude towards servicing the public. A Vice President of the National Legislative Assembly, or NLA, believes the new government will make an address on its policy before the Assembly in the afternoon of September 9th. The NLA's second Vice President, Pirasak Phojit, said that the Assembly's scheduled meeting on Friday had to be postponed after Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha and his cabinet had been sworn in before His Majesty the King, but had not made the government policy address to the NLA. Originally, the Friday sittings were scheduled to deliberate 5 drafts proposed by the National Council for Peace and Order, a session that would require representatives from the cabinet to present the details of all drafts. He added that with the incompletion of the protocols on the government's part, the President and members of the NLA agreed to delay all sessions to September 11th. The NLA's second Vice President went on to say that General Prayut will likely make the government policy address before the NLA in the afternoon of September 9th. The appeals court has ruled that Bangkok Governor Sukhumpan Boripat is not guilty of engaging in mudslinging against his rival candidate during the recent gubernatorial election. The ruling results in Mom Ratchawong Sukhumpan remaining in his post as Bangkok Governor until he finishes his term. Mom Ratchawong Sukhumpan and all of his management team attended the hearing. The lawsuit was filed against him by the Election Commission, or EC, after it had ruled 3-2 to yellow card the governor. Complaints were originally filed against the governor by Pheu Thai party members in March of last year. The EC was urged to probe whether several senior Democrat Party members violated local election law by slandering Pheu Thai candidate Phongsapat Phongcharoen during the campaign to help Mom Ratchawong Sukhumpan win the election. After the hearing, Mom Ratchawong Sukhumpan thanked his supporters and vowed to tackle floods and disease outbreaks first as soon as he resumes office. Japanese entrepreneurs have met with the Thai Foreign Affairs Permanent Secretary Sihasak Phuongketkaew and affirmed that Thailand remains their trade and investment hub in ASEAN, though there are many attractive countries to invest in. The representatives of 24 leading Japanese companies, led by the managing director of K-Dandran, Satoshi Mukuta, and the Secretary General of the Thai Chamber of Commerce, Galin Sarasin, are convinced that the Thai economy and politics have regained stability. Mr. Sihasak said that Thailand is putting efforts into creating factors that support trade and investment in the kingdom, For example, taxation reform, improving SME competitiveness, and ensuring transparency in the customs system. The results of blood tests on the 24-year-old Guinean woman who was suspected of having Ebola as she traveled to Thailand show she actually has malaria. The woman was tested for the second time by the Public Health Ministry, clearing her from any possible suspicion that she had the deadly virus. Dr. Apichai Mongkon, the Director General of the Medical Science Department under the Public Health Ministry, revealed that the woman's blood test result has been negative. Instead, she has been diagnosed with falciparum malaria, the most dangerous form of malaria, which exhibits symptoms similar to those of Ebola. Falciparum malaria patients are often found to be resistant against medicine, and this disease can be found throughout most tropical countries. The Bangkok Mass Transit Authority, or BMTA, held a seminar to discuss the details of the plan to purchase 3,183 new NGV buses. However, no concrete conclusion was made, signaling a possible delay in the purchasing process. The seminar was attended by related agencies, such as the Thailand Association of the Disabled and various private organizations. Chairman of the BMTA Managing Board, Police General Ek Angsananon, revealed that setting the median price for the purchase was the main focus of the meeting, saying the BMTA's previous term of reference committee settled the prices of regular NGV buses at 3.8 million baht and 4.5 million baht for air-conditioned ones. The attendees, however, said that the prices were still too high, pointing out that these prices had been set without a thorough survey of local and international bus manufacturers. The BMTA acknowledged the suggestion and promised to conduct another price survey. Meanwhile, the Thailand Association of the Disabled advised that all buses should have a low platform to make them accessible to those using wheelchairs. However, the BMTA said floods and uneven surface of Bangkok roads and bridges would make it difficult to drive buses with a low platform, but said it would bring the matter to the board meeting on Monday for further discussion. The University of the Thai Chamber of Commerce, or UTCC, recorded the Consumer Confidence Index, or CCI, at 80.1 in August, the fourth consecutive month of increase after the new cabinet began to take shape. Mr. Thanawat Ponvichai, Director of the Center for Economic and Business Forecasting at UTCC, indicated that the CCI had risen for 4 months in a row, edging up from 78.2 in June to 80.1 in August. The latest reading of the index also hit its 13-month high, and improvements were seen across the board. The confidence index on the overall economy jumped to 70.1 from the previous month. Similarly, the indexes on job opportunities and future income settled at 73.6 and 96.4 respectively. The index on the political situation, meanwhile, stood at 87.5, the highest in 88 months since May 2006. Mr. Thanawat attributed the increases to the return of stability in Thailand, especially in the political arena. The royal endorsement of General Prayut Chan-o-cha as the 29th Prime Minister of Thailand, as was the formation of his cabinet, prompted public members to hope for a better economy. Despite the bright prospects, domestic spending remains rather sluggish due to falling prices of agricultural goods, timid export growth, and slower than expected budget disbursement. Mr. Thanawat thus advised that the new government adopt concrete stimulus plans, consider deactivating the martial law in tourism provinces, and speed up infrastructure investments in order to boost economic growth in the fourth quarter and through the year 2015. The Government Public Relations Department, or PRD, has been holding its weekly Music in the Garden event every Thursday in the late afternoon, with the hope of fostering unity and harmony in the kingdom. Kun Jetana Gunther has a story for us.
The Music in the Garden concerts are held at the PRD Auditorium in Soi Ari from 4:30 p.m. until 8 p.m. on Thursdays under various themes on a weekly basis. The weekly event, which demonstrates the PRD's efforts in supporting the National Council for Peace and Order, or NCPO's commitment to rebuilding happiness, has received a great reception from the public. The free concerts attracted a massive number of people, and the PRD has been urged to keep the project running for longer terms. Various types of music are played by the PRD's live bands, including Thai contemporary music, traditional Thai songs, royal melodies composed by His Majesty the King, modern Thai songs, and a selection of international songs.
ดนตรีในส่วนของกรมประชาสัมพันธ์ที่จัดขึ้นนะครับเป็นการคืนความสุขของกรมประชาสัมพันธ์ให้กับพี่น้องประชาชนเป็นการดำเนินการตามนโยบายของคสช.ที่จะให้คืนความสุขให้กับคนในชาติเราตอบโจทย์ของคสช.ด้วยการนำเสนอดนตรีวงกรมประชาสัมพันธ์ที่เรามีมายาวนานแล้วสมัยก่อนเราเรียกวงสุนทราภรณ์แต่เดี๋ยวนี้ก็คือวงกรมประชาสัมพันธ์เรามีสวนสาธารณะเรามีหอประชุมเพราะฉะนั้นเรามีความพร้อมเรามีนักดนตรีแต่สิ่งที่ปรากฏการณ์ที่เกิดขึ้นอย่างไม่น่าเชื่อก็คือการที่มีศิลปินแห่งชาตินักร้องที่มีชื่อเสียงจำนวนมากให้ความกรุณากรมประชาสัมพันธ์มาร่วมร้องเพลงกับเราตลอดนะครับ
PRD Director General Apinan Jantarangsi also visited the event and expressed his immense support for the weekly concert, saying the event was part of the NCPO's policy to dissolve political factions and to promote unity among the citizens through music, essentially paving the way for sustainable peace and reconciliation. During the 14th weekly Music in the Garden event, the concert was held under the Thai folk music theme, showcased by a number of national artists and contemporary performers. Renowned Luk Thung artists Rung Phet Lam Singh and Sirintara Niyakon were invited to perform at the event amid loud applauses from the audience. For those who are unable to attend, NBT occasionally plays a rerun of the concert on its main television channel. The concert, which kicked off in June, is not scheduled to be finished anytime soon. This is Jetana Gunther reporting.
In today's segment of Now or Never, Dr. Yongyut Mayalap, the spokesperson of the National Council for Peace and Order, or NCPO, will talk about Thailand's pilot project for waste disposal. Let's have a look.
Welcome to Now or Never, the program that updates you on the policies and developments of the National Council for Peace and Order, or NCPO. The time is now for all Thais to unite, to move the country forward, and to push for reform in all dimensions to strengthen Thailand in a sustainable way. For the NCPO, waste management is another urgent matter that needs a sustainable solution. The NCPO has considered and approved the Ministry of Interior's waste disposal operations with a pioneering project in Pranakon, Sri Ayutthaya. The project involves generating electricity from garbage with waste-to-energy technology that uses incineration to produce refuse-derived fuel. Incinerators must have high temperature to ensure all waste is burnt without the release of pollution to the environment. According to data provided by the Environment Office, Pranakon Sri Ayutthaya produces 1,200 tons of waste per day, but it has a waste disposal capacity of only 700 tons per day. Currently, there's a total of 300,000 tons from old and new piles of garbage. After the construction of a power plant, the province will have the capacity to accommodate another 300 tons of waste per day for electricity generation, along with an additional landfill site for the remainder of the waste. Because of this project, the province will have a waste disposal capacity of 760,000 tons. However, the NCPO has emphasized that the facility must not spoil the environment and cause pollution. People must also benefit from the project, as it should create more jobs, such as waste sorting, which could also be a source of additional income. In other countries, waste management business helps generate income. and therefore many Thais can also earn a living from it. The facility must take into account the concerns of the local community as well as those of people living in proximity of the construction area. It should also have a rigorous waste disposal system and strict measures for the disposal of waste produced by the power plant, such as wastewater treatment mechanisms. The NCPO would like the Pollution Control Department and the Ministry of Industry to inspect both old and new facilities. If an old waste management facility does not meet quality standards, it must be shut down or redeveloped with updated technology. What is important is that it must not create further problems for people. Following this pilot project, the NCPO has tasked the security cluster of the NCPO to oversee the development of additional waste disposal operations and the implementation of the waste-to-energy technology in other areas of the kingdom. สวัสดีครับ
And that ends today's edition of Thailand Moves Forward. We'll take a quick break now, but before that, let's take a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices.
Open the world of information. Embrace public participation. Present Thainess to the world. New dimension of the government's public relations. The 81st anniversary of Public Relations Department. Creative media for society and mobilizing Thailand towards the ASEAN community.
Welcome back to Newsline. Now on to the global news. Ukraine's government and Eastern Armed Forces signed a ceasefire protocol, bringing forth a glimmer of hope that an end to the bloodshed in eastern Ukraine is within reach. The protocol was inked in the Belarusian capital, Minsk, where envoys from the two warring sides, as well as from Russia and the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, or OSCE, were pressed for a settlement of the Ukraine crisis. Former Ukrainian President Leonid Kuchma, Russian ambassador to Ukraine Mikhail Zurabov, OSCE representative in Ukraine Heidi Taliavini, and representatives from the self-proclaimed republics of Lugansk and Donetsk participated in the Minsk talks. The ceasefire started on Friday as agreed in Minsk. The Ukrainian government forces and local armed forces pledged to withdraw heavy weapons from the eastern battlefields as soon as possible. Sierra Leone will go on a countrywide lockdown for 3 days later this month as part of an escalation of efforts to halt the spread of Ebola across the West African country. An official from the country's Ministry of Information confirmed Saturday. But medical charity Medicine Sans Frontières, or MSF, said on Saturday the measures will not help control the outbreak and could lead to the disease spreading further as cases are concealed. An outbreak first identified in Guinea in March has since spread across much of Liberia and Sierra Leone. Cases have also been registered in Nigeria and Senegal, and the World Health Organization says more than 2,100 people have died. More than 6 months into the crisis, weak government health systems are still failing to get a grip on the disease, one of the deadliest on the planet. And that's the end of today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook. Simply type in NNT or check out our website, thainews.prd.go.th/newsing. And today we're going to say goodbye with great companionship between a dog and a cheetah in San Diego Zoo. I'm Suraphal Lautaranarit. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. สวัสดีครับ